Hello guys, hi. Today we are going to be looking at some of the features or characteristics of a service industry. This topic is relevant to those who are doing paper P1 and E1 from CIMA, and to those who are doing F2, which is MA, and F5, which is PM from ACCA. Now, before we look at what are the characteristics of a service industry, let's first try to understand what a service industry is. Okay. A service industry, as the name suggests, is an industry that gives you a service, whereas a manufacturing industry is an industry that manufactures something and then sells it to you. Let's look at 4 examples to understand this better. The first one would be a salon or a beauty parlor. The second, say, we take the example of an institute, an educational institute like myself. Third example can be of a company that makes and sells mobile phones. And the fourth one could be that of a company that makes and sells cars. Now, when you go to a saloon, do you think they make a product and then sell it to you? Of course not, right? When you go to a saloon, you go there for a service like, say, a haircut or a shave. Here, they are not making or manufacturing something and selling it to you. Here, they are giving a service to you. Let's look at example number 3. A company that makes and sells mobile phones. When you go here, you don't get a service. When you go here, you do not get a service. You get a mobile phone, right? You buy a mobile phone from them. So this industry is making a product and then selling that product to you. So I hope it is clear the difference between example 1 and example 3 is clear. Example 1, the example of a saloon, is a service industry, because here, when you go there, they are giving you a service. They are giving you a haircut, they are giving you a shave. That is an example of a service industry. On the other hand, example number 3, a company that makes and sells a product to you, is an example of a manufacturing industry. So now looking at example 2 and 4, I want you people to pause and then to think if example 2 and 4 are examples of a service industry or are they examples of a manufacturing industry. All right, so I'm going to continue. Example 2, an educational institute like myself. Here I am not making a product and selling to you. Here I am giving you a service. Here I am giving you the service of knowledge. You can see here. I am giving you a service, the service of knowledge. Therefore, the industry I am in is the service industry. On the other hand, example number 4 is an industry where they make a car, Now in English, make would mean manufacture. They manufacture a car. Manufacture means make. They manufacture a car, so they make or manufacture a car and then sell a product to you. And therefore, example 4 is an example of a manufacturing industry, whereas example 2 is an example of a service industry. Now, as we look at some of the features of a service industry, we will see more examples. But I hope the idea behind what a service industry is and what a manufacturing industry is clear. A manufacturing industry produces or manufactures or makes a product and sells it to you. Whereas a service industry gives you a service, such as in example 2, such as knowledge, right? So now let us look at some of the features of a service industry. And you can remember this as Whitney. Of course, it does not mean anything, but you can use it to remember it. Each of these letters stands for a characteristic. Each of these letters stands for a feature of a service industry. The first one stands for variability. Now, what is variability? Now, let's go back to these examples. Okay. Say you are going to the mobile phone shop and you ask for a Y phone X. Okay. Now, whether you go and buy this Y phone X, or Mr. L goes and buys this, or Mr. X goes and buys this, whoever goes and buys this Y phone X is going to get the same product. The features, the design, everything is going to be the same. It is the same product, right? Think of this car manufacturing company. You go and buy this car. Okay, this model is there, some model of a car. Okay, so no matter who goes and buys this car, they will get the same car. It will be the same. On the other hand, let's look at example 1 and 2. Say a person with these kind of hair, I'm just drawing to explain it to you better. Say a person with these kind of hair goes to the barber shop. Okay, he is also looking for a haircut. And then another person with these kind of hair, just 2 hair on his head, also goes to the barber and he also wants a haircut. Now, although both of them are buying the same service, which is a haircut, the service that the barber will provide will be different for both of them. The work that he will do for the first guy and the work that he will do for the second person will be different. The service provided will be different, right? The service will be variable. And that is what the first feature stands for. The service industry has variability in it. Although you might ask for the same service, the service given can be variable. Do you understand? Now look at the other example, the example of an institute like myself. If you want to take service from me, if you want to take classes from me, and you ask me to teach you, say, paper P1 from CIMA, okay? Now imagine, now I've taught MBAs, I've taught BCom graduates, and I've taught people who've just finished school, okay? So now imagine two people come to me and ask me to teach them paper P1. The first one is a PhD. Okay. Whereas the second one has just finished P1 classes from me, is a PhD, and the second person who's taking P1 classes from me has just finished grade 12. Right? Now, although it's the same service both of them are asking for, the service that I'll have to give or the service that I will give is likely to be different. Like I might have to put more time and effort behind the student who's just finished grade 12, right? So one of the features or characteristics of the service industry is that the service is variable. There is variability in it. Fine. Let's move on to the next feature or characteristic. And this I stands for inseparability. Okay. So we are looking at the second feature or characteristic of a service industry, and that is inseparability. What does this mean, inseparability? This means, okay, I'll give you an example, okay? Think of a manufacturing industry, okay? Forget a manufacturing industry. Imagine you are making tea for yourself, okay, in a vessel. Fine. This is the vessel in which you're making tea. The tea is being made, fine. Now, normally, what do people do? Normally, I really hope that you will wait for this tea to be made in full. You will put it into a cup and then drink the tea, right? Is there anybody watching this video who will say, sir, I am going to have the tea will be in the process of being made, and I will start drinking the tea at the same time? Will you do that? Definitely not. I hope not, right? You will wait for the tea to be made in full. You will put it into a cup and then drink it. So you will first make it and then you will drink it. I don't think while it's being made, you will put a straw into it and start drinking it, right? Think of the car manufacturing example that I gave you. The car will first be made and then you will drive it. It's not like while it is being made, you're also driving it around. That's not going to happen. So you first make the car and then you drive it. A mobile phone, you first make it and then you use it. Right? First making is happening and then using is happening. That is the case with manufacturing industries. But now think of a service industry, right? Imagine you are taking a haircut at the barber shop, right? This guy was taking a haircut at the barber shop. Now, if we go by the manufacturing industry rule, first his hair will get cut by the barber. The barber will first cut his hair, and then after some time his hair will go. Correct? That is how, according to the manufacturing industry rule that we saw, first the barber will cut his hair fully, and then suddenly his hair will go. But that's not the case with the service industry. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever gone to a barber? The barber cuts your hair, then you come back home, sleep, and when you wake up, your hair are gone. This does not happen, correct? While the barber is working on your hair, okay, the barber is also working on your hair. At the same time, your hair are being cut. Do you understand? It's happening simultaneously. It's happening together. It is not happening separately. Do you understand? Think of another example, the institute example, my example. You've attended so many classes so far in your life. Has this ever happened to you that first the teacher teaches you and then after 4 hours you get the information? Does that happen to you? Definitely not. While the teacher is giving the service, at the same time you are taking the service. Do you understand? So that is a feature of the service industry. Inseparability. It happens together. While one person is giving the service, the other is receiving the service. It happens together. It is not separate. It is happening together, which is why one of the features of the service industry is inseparability. Then comes perishability. What does this mean? Perishability is basically like, I'll give you an example here. If in a manufacturing industry, somebody makes a mobile phone. Okay, they make a mobile phone. This is a mobile phone. Fine. After the person who is making the mobile phone stops making the mobile phone is still expected to be there, correct? Yes or no? The mobile phone will still physically be there. It will not perish. If somebody is making a tea, okay, say the person who is making the tea gets a call and they move away. What will happen? Will the tea vanish? No, the tea will still be there. So the tea will still be there. It will not perish. It will not get over. But in the case of a service industry, say this person is getting a haircut, right? These are his hair. There's a barber who is working on his hair. Fine, he's cutting his hair. Now imagine the barber gets a phone call and the barber moves 4 steps, just 4 steps or 3 steps away. The service will perish. The service will stop. Will he still be getting a haircut? No. Do you understand? Say I'm teaching and I get a call. What will happen? The service will stop. The service will perish. Right? That is perishability, and that is one of the features of a service industry. Now I get all sorts of questions from students, and one of the question was, sir, in this example, in the example of this tea coffee example, now when you make the tea and give the tea to me, I will drink that tea. So the tea will get over, it will perish. I get these all different types of questions, right? So the question is, if you give me the tea, I will drink the tea, so the tea will get over, it will perish. So even this is perishing. Now look, the point is, when I stop making the tea, Okay, when I finish making the tea and I just move back one step, will the tea stop? Will the tea disappear? No, the tea will be there. So the point is, after I stop making the tea will still be there. It will not perish. Now, later, whether you drink it or not, that is a different thing. But when I stop making the tea is still there. Do you understand? But in case of a service industry, as soon as this barber moves back one step with his comb and scissor, the service stops. Perishability. And that is one of the features of a service industry. The other one is no transfer of ownership. Right. When you are, the name itself is self-explanatory. When you go to a manufacturing industry and you're buying something, say you're buying the mobile phone, you now become the owner of the mobile phone. On the other hand, say you go to a saloon. Do you become the owner of the saloon? No. Do you become the owner of the scissors? No. Do you become owner of anything? No. So there is no transfer of ownership in a service industry. You're just taking the service, that's it. And the last point is intangibility. And tangibility is something that you can touch. So obviously, intangible is something that you cannot touch. And let's look at the example. In a manufacturing industry, I make a mobile phone and give the mobile phone to you. Can you touch the mobile phone? Yes. Right now you are using your laptop or computer on a table. Can you touch it? Yes. But in case of a service industry, you go to the saloon. Can you touch his service? You cannot. You cannot touch his service. Now again, I've had people telling me, sir, I can touch the barber. You can touch the barber, but you cannot touch his service. Do you understand? Like how you are able to touch the product in the manufacturing industry, you cannot touch the service, right? Say you are taking classes from me. Can you touch my teaching? Can you touch my service? You can be touched by my service, but can you touch it? No, you cannot. And that is why one of the features of a service industry is intangibility. Right? So these are some of the services of these are some of the features of a service industry. Variability, inseparability, perishability, no transfer of ownership, and intangibility. Now, you can try to remember each of the points and you can revise what we've looked at today. The summary for the day is, what is a service industry? Number one. A brief on what is a manufacturing industry. And the main topic that we looked at today was features or characteristics of a service industry, right? So that is all for today, right? Thank you very much, guys. I will be uploading videos regularly, so you can catch up on any topics that you are weak in. I will start uploading videos for paper F5, PM ACCA, and paper P1 of CIMA soon. Thank you very much, guys. See you in the next video.